How's it going, folks? Brian Kusko here at Triple B. And today's guests are Brian Potter and Bob Ashley, the gentlemen who put on the North American Reptile Breeders Conferences in Tinley and in Arlington. And it's a good interview, and a really good one, actually. There's actually going to be two parts to this interview. The first part is the main part, and then I learned a long time ago, just because you say everything's done, don't stop rolling on the cameras necessarily. So we actually got like a whole second part of the interview where if you've been to one of the Tinley US ARC auctions, then you know it's earmuffs times, kids. But yeah, let's get right into it, guys. You're watching Triple B TV.
So you keep reptiles?
I do, yeah. I own Chicago Reptile House since '93 when I got out of the Marine Corps. Before that, I worked actually at Reptile Haven in San Diego, Escondido actually, but and just kept turtles and frogs and newts, all the other stuff that kids catch in the wild. You know, when I was little, that's how I got into all this. And I met Bob, my partner for the show, who owns Eco, and he publishes books, and he's got a hat line that goes through all the national parks. You know, we're all over the reptile industry, sort of, in a way, different things. You know, he does different things than I do. I do the retail thing, which you know, is challenging at times. So I know a lot of how the vendors feel, I guess, from a retailer standpoint. And I used to do shows with Bob, and that's sort of how this whole thing came to be. We said, God, we do these shows, and there's so much crap, there's so much done wrong by all the other promoters, that we were just like, this is what we would do, you know? And instead of being like the talkers, we said, let's do it, let's just do it. And we had drove by this place right here. It was a piece of dirt, flat dirt. And I said, you see that ground right there? They're building a convention center. And it wasn't October, it was like 3 months prior to that. And so we said, we're gonna do a show in October, and everybody's like, oh, 3 months? We're like, no, like next year, you know? So we're like 15 months out. So we come up with this idea to do it, and he's like, I'm in, you know? We drove North Carolina to a show, came back, and we started planning and everything, and calling all of our friends, the Mark Bells, the Peter Calls, the Eugene Bassett's, Strictly Reptile, like all the big name guys, just Bob Clark, and you know, everybody. And they all said, yeah, we'll do it, you know, we'll come out and do the show. And that's kind of how this whole thing became what it is.
And that was back in...
that was in 90.
Something.
99.
Yeah, 99.
99.
Bob, you want to get in here?
Yeah, that was in 99. We kind of started the planning of everything, and then the first show was 2001. So yeah. it was a long development process to sort of to make it what we thought was a quality show. You see the building we're in, carpeted floors, no VFW hall. You had to cover your tables, you know. Just we wanted to make it so when mom and dad came here with their little kids, they weren't like feeling like they're at like a motorcycle event, you know, like a biker rally or something. That we wanted it to be more family friendly and educational, and we just wanted to bring it up because both him and I do trade shows for other businesses, other companies, and you know, it's a different experience. And so
whole different world doing a professional trade show.
Yeah, professional trade show. That's the word I'm looking for, is professional, I guess. Yeah. And that's what we wanted to do, and that's kind of how it was all built.
Nice. For me, from my outsider perspective, it's like, this is the show. The first time I came to this show, I thought halfway through I was like, I'm gonna come back here every year. Like, this is good. It just seems
that's
like
what we want.
There's some kind of atmosphere here where the people, like lots of other shows, there's some other really good shows, some big shows, and they're really good. But for some reason here, like the people, it just feels really tight. Like, what do you think you can attribute that to? Like, how does it get?
Midwesterns, you know, the Midwesterners are the best people on earth, really. I mean, I grew up, of course, in Michigan, so I'm going to think that. But they're different. You go out the East Coast or West Coast, it's just different. You know?
People are different, and West Coast and East Coast people are different. There's no doubt about it. You know, we used to have the Anaheim show, and it was like everyone showed up, did the show, and everyone left and went home, and that was it. It was like business. It was straight, you know, business.
They'd drive 3 hours each way home.
And that was it. They would do that and leave.
Yeah.
And so
here they might live 2 blocks away. They'll get a room at the hotel and drink all week and have a party. It's like
my house is 5 minutes from here, and I'm here from Thursday to Monday.
So because it's the Midwesterners, that's what
I really think. Yeah, I mean, and look, and obviously you go through the crowd. It's a crowd of Midwesterners, I think, attending mainly. I mean, you know, you get fly-ins, obviously. I think we get a ton of them, but the bulk of the numbers live within 3 hours of here. You know.
Yeah.
As far as the vendors, yeah, they're all over. We got Japan, we've got all over Europe, we've got Korea, we've got, you know, all the entourages, the Asian
and the bars that come in, you know, like that too. You know, they're coming by, and you know, we'll go in the room and just suck stuff up and go back and clean out of the room, which is why the vendors like coming here.
How long does it take to prepare for this show? I mean, you've been doing it for almost like over a decade now.
It's somewhat year-round, and it's a 2-step process. So you do your form and you mail it off. It goes to my house. I do the money aspect of it. I do the website part of it. And then there's a couple boxes we check off the way we do it. I mail it to Bob. Bob has the layout, plans the layout portion of it. and maintains all the forms and the badges and all that stuff. So it's sort of a two-part process. So that happens almost all year long. The last couple of years, it's condensed down because we sell out earlier and earlier and earlier. So it's taken it down. So all of a sudden we're sold out, and really all I have to do nothing until from that point all the way to showtime.
So
whereas before it was a little bit.
We're working harder at the events because I'm doing a lot of the work I normally do in the office now. Because we're trying to sign.
Because our March show will sell out. If it's not sold out today, it'll sell out in 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks. Now I've also got today for the first time ever a ton of October forms. And here we are. We're in October.
If we didn't expand the show, which we have to for just need, we can't fit the amount of people that come through here without expanding it. But if we didn't expand it, we'd have been sold out, 30 or 40 booths ago.
Yeah.
From what we had this March.
The biggest complaint we had with March was always a 2/3 footprint of the October show. And the biggest complaint we ever had, the only really complaint you really had, and it was big, it was starting to grow and grow and grow, was people would leave and say, I'm never going back there. I've never seen that many people in a place. I couldn't see everything. I couldn't go to one spot and then look around and then say, all right, let's go back. It was like, we're leaving.
Right. Yeah.
So now with the expanded platform of the show being the full size of the building now again.
Yeah. Aisles will be a little bit wider now. So
it'll relieve a lot of that.
Yeah, the first time, of course, the first show we did was right after 9/11. Did you tell them about that?
Yeah, we were talking about that last night.
It was just like crazy. So that was our first show. Of course, we learned what not to do. We learned what losing a chunk of money is like. But you learn. It's like we weren't going to give up. We realized what we did wrong. We're like, you know what? There's probably not going to be another one of those next year. Let's shoot for it. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. You hit record numbers this year at the USL auction.
Oh yeah.
Something that the auction here. People talk about the auction here like it's almost like not a cult classic type thing, but
it is. It kind of is.
Your MC style is a big.
Well, yeah, Brian's what does that for that. He's very entertaining. He kind of roasts the industry, makes fun of people, and and even the sponsors that get made fun of are like, laughing, so.
Marine Corps background, it's like my friends, people I care about, we bust balls. That's what we do. It's kind of, the new guy, the guys we don't know, we don't, hey, how are we doing? We're very proper to them, and that's that. You move along. Your friends, you bust balls and just nonstop, and that's what it's endearing. And so it's easy on the stage for me to like pick on people because I know things. I know who they are. I know what they're about. I know that and then and then some guys you don't know, but you can tell they're fun guys. You can play with them, and you can see instantly that when you start playing with people like that, and you're busted on them, but everyone gets it, And the ultimate goal that night is to raise a whole bunch of money for all of us.
Which last night was a record number.
Record number.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we beat it by almost 50 grand.
Yeah,
it
was one.
I thought it was 108, but I was correct. 113 was our record before this, so we did 161 and change. So
that's amazing.
And then last year, obviously, at last year's auction, March, was it March? Joe Hub or October?
Yeah, Joe Hub. I think we did
last October.
Was it October?
Joe Hub.
I think we did.
So Joe Hub's thing, his daughter had passed away, and he was hurting for money to actually bury his daughter, and we made some phone calls ahead of the thing, and I said, hey, talk to the sponsors, and Todd at Timberline's always, a huge supporter of the auction. He generally is most of the auction. Now you got Miguel stepping up, just huge. And so we got some phone calls that said, hey, we got to make this happen. We got to take care of this. We need that guy to leave that night, not having to worry about that. And it was a hugely emotional night for everyone. I'm getting emotional thinking about it.
Yeah. So it was
so then this year, Tell Hicks, incredible artist, one of Bob's best friends, and it was just like, another thing happened, a tragic accident. He was paralyzed, falling out of bed. I mean, he wasn't climbing a mountain. He wasn't, playing professional football. He fell out of bed, and it could happen to any of us. And one thing that Chris said to me from Sea Serpents, who's a huge supporter of the auction and puts a lot of money out, he said, I just like to think that if it happens to me, you guys will take care of me. Yeah. And it's like, you can see that's what's in that room.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
It is.
And they'll step up for anyone in need, I think.
Yeah. It's just, and that makes all this I win every day here. It's like, my booth, I'm making money here, but beyond all that, man, seeing what we did for Tell and seeing what we did for Joe Hub and
all the people in the past,
all the money that we've pumped into, and it's not him and I. A lot of times I say we doing, we're facilitating it, but it's the vendors and the people in the audience that are, it's their money. Bob and I are just monkey suits up there jumping around, juggling bears. We're dancing bears. It's like So I a lot of times say we do, and I understand it's not us doing it.
He's more the dancing bear though.
But it's like that's so fulfilling that it's just amazing, to know that USARC we beat back laws that nobody thought we would beat back. Like when that law passed the retics and the shipping laws and all that, the berms, it was a done deal. There's not a single reptile person out there that probably thought we were getting that back, and we did. We stepped up together, put a bunch of money out, and we beat that, and that's huge for us. And it's just those are the things that when I'm an old man and whatever about to die, I'll look back on. Those are the things I'm gonna remember. Is like we really did stuff, and that's pretty awesome. It's just
I appreciate you guys taking a second to talk with us. Yeah, I agree. I've felt the power. That's why I said I'd come back the first year and then just come back every year. So my whole year goes around. My plan is to be here. Every October. I'm going to start coming to the March ones hopefully, but it's kind of a long journey for me. But the point is, I really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah, thanks, man. I hope
it's awesome. Continues for years and years and years.
Awesome. And thanks so much.
The end. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's where the interview was over, and this is where the interview began. Kids?
You guys are awesome, man.
I know I'll drive 14 hours every year. I don't do
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's just so much more than a reptile show, and there's just so many other things that make it so incredible. And like, I can't wait to see Tell's reaction to all this. I mean, Bob explained like, us giving him 20 grand is like us giving you $1 million.
It's a lot of money. Yeah, it's a huge thing. Yeah, I mean,
and then when we say, oh, not just 20 now, we have another 64,000 coming to you. I mean, it's just like, I think people will really understand what happened when they see his reaction.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It'll be a lot more fulfilling than just a number that we say, oh, 64 grand. Right. Wait till you see what the guy, how he acts when he gets
that. In that event, so I talked to Eileen. I said, hey, they want us to come over for the 4th for some event. Is there a reptile show? She says, yeah, the Doncaster show that they always do.
Yes.
Tell's sons are actually setting up at the show for all Tell's stuff because he can't.
We're going to fly there for that, and
so we're going to fly there to help him set up.
That big guy from England that was all jacked. Gavin came up to me and he goes, he was like, this is so. He was blown away, and which blew me away. And he said, we need this in the UK, and I said, well, why don't Bob and I just fly over on the, when's your next show? And he goes, November 4th, and I said, why don't we just come over and do this here? I go, I mean, I'm going to light that room up. I go, are they going to be okay with it? Or are they going to fucking shoot me? Like, are they gonna be? And he's like, no, they'll love it, He's
don't
like,
mention Trump.
Yeah, right. Oh, believe me, there'll be Trump in there. Trump's gonna be fucking their queen. Oh, yeah, it's all happening, And so, so it's gonna be like that's gonna be a whole nother awesome thing, It all stems from all of this, It's just. We were doing the auction when no one was doing an auction. We invented that. I mean, for US Arc and all that, we invented US Arc in a way. I mean, we called a meeting in Chicago. Do you know about that or no?
No.
So, do you remember Andrew Wyatt? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Andrew had NC Arc.
Yeah. And North Carolina, we started these reptile summits. We had like the little law symposiums that we're doing here when we first started, and the first one we did with Harry Carey. So we did at the restaurant over at the airport.
Right by O'Hare.
Arc was invented there.
It was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It was North Carolina Arc, right?
And Andrew sat there, and he came because he had this NC Arc thing that he was doing, and so we called up. We decided like, hey, let's have everybody fly in. Let's fucking do something, And it was like, and everyone talked shit, and everyone was, but nobody really did anything. And so Jeff Behringer happened to be there sitting in the audience, and all of a sudden you got Mark Bell, Eugene Bissett, fucking everybody. Marshall Myers,
Jamie Reeser was there. From
it was like you looked around, you go, holy fuck, man, this is like 50 players, And so everybody kind of said some stuff. Rapashi was there at that, and everybody said like, hey, what if we did this, and NC Arc is doing this thing, and what if we had a US version of that, And Behringer steps up. Everybody's getting positive, and he's like, yeah, we tried all this with NRAC.
Right, NRAC.
He goes, and it never worked. And I go, so I've been sitting quiet, kind of, I'm not just listening, but I'm like, I was excited that it was going. And then he steps up. I fucking jump. I go, oh yeah, fuck it, let's all go home. Fucking Jeff tried before. Fuck it, ain't gonna work. Let's go. And everybody's like. And Jeff, like you can tell, he was all pissed off, but I was like, "Fuck that attitude." They ain't getting shit. We ain't getting shit done like that. I'm a fucking Marine. It's like, don't tell me what I can't do.
Oh yeah.
And so
that just fueled the fire.
It did, man. And so then Andrew stood up and he said, like, I think we could bring this national, and I know how to do it, and it started to fucking go, and then that's kind of how it went. It was just amazing, And it's all those things I look back on. It's like, you don't remember the money you made or any of that shit. You remember those cool things.
Yeah.
It's just neat, and I think there's a lot more shit we're gonna do. I think we're gonna do way more than this. I don't think we're done. I think I want to get the 4-inch turtle law overturned, turtle, whatever. But the tortoise thing, I think we need to. I think approach Phil. We talked about maybe approaching Phil and saying, hey, what if we took all the money for a year maybe, and we pump it into whatever lobbies we have to overturn that tortoise law thing and just get that knocked out, you know. And I think we can take little steps that, you know, being able to legally sell tortoises all across the U.S. in pet stores that were small could be huge for the industry. I mean, it's a lot of money. You know, we don't do them here because they enforce it here. There's a few rolling around, but like if it was just legal and out and where you could, you know.
Yeah.
So there's little things we want to do. There's more that we want to do, you know.
Is it okay if I include some of that stuff in the
Absolutely,
okay,
man.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I just kept it rolling because you were going. So
yeah, no, yeah, whatever you want. Yeah,
awesome,
absolutely,
awesome.
Appreciate it. You know, anything we can do to get the word out always helps.
I appreciate
Yeah, absolutely.
Like really,
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yep.
My name is Marshall.
Marshall. Yeah.
3rd Battalion, 5th Marines.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Vince. You know where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Thank you, Bob and Brian, for jumping out and doing that interview. I know that you guys are real busy that day. That's why we jumped in that little back room and just did a quick knock it out real quick thing. See you guys coming up soon here in March. Next week, we're going to be speaking with the gentleman who owns Doobie Deli. Got an interesting story about some stolen intellectual property and stuff like that. So pretty interesting for you guys to tune into. Until then, you've been watching Triple B TV. Y'all take care.
Yeah, we do. We breed. I own Chicago Reptile House over in Orland as well. You know, my partner Bob owns Eco Universe. And
Maybe come a little closer. I want to make sure we get the mic.
I was gonna say I don't think it's gonna pick up.
Is it too loud out here?
It's a little bit louder.
Let's go back here.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go back.
Make it better looking too.
What's that?
Make it better looking.
Do what I can. We're not Hollywood magic.
I guess you do it in front of that, right? Like at least
The tail piece.
Yeah, it's a tail piece, so it's horrible.
Yeah, usually I have like a whole lav mic set up and whatnot, but
That
it's
way
like,
we come in, so nobody comes in. It's so fucking loud, we couldn't even do it.
yeah, I have a whole lav mic set up. It takes a bunch of time to set
No,
up.
this is
You're
cool,
a
bro.
busy guy,
We're
so-
quiet now, so
Yeah.
yeah. So you know, just
It's alright, you can get the door. It's all good. It's all good. I have.
sorry.
I edit.
Yeah, I know. All right, so let's go back.
Yeah. Yeah. Today's guests are Bob Ashley and Brian Potter, the gentlemen who put on the National